There is one simple fact that has rung true throughout the ages, since the dawn of currency, ever since we traded things and made little organizations where we trade things for currency. It is that corporations' sole purpose is to make money, and they do not care about you in the slightest. In the slightest. This has never been more true than right now with TikTok. I did not want to talk about it again. I was done with it. But then the biggest shit show, extravaganza, PR stunt, press opportunity of my life that I've ever witnessed happened. And I can't not talk about it because it grinds my gears. It boils my fucking blood. Here was TikTok. Here was this app that is owned by a Chinese company, but for all intents and purposes was kind of widely regarded as for the people, okay? This was where free speech was happening. This was the town square, if you will. TikTok was the birthplace of so many conversations, so many movements, and if not the birthplace. If not the birthplace, definitely the powder keg for some of them. And that gave it this kind of immunity when it's been under the threat of being banned since like 2020 when, drumroll please, Donald Trump himself first put in the idea into the government's head that we need to ban it. The blanket's about to cover the camera. And ever since then, it's always kind of been on the chopping block, sort of. I've always kind of felt like, okay, like it's this is the year TikTok gets banned, and everyone has like been losing their minds, being like we need to save TikTok. Even TikTok itself, out of its own self-preservation, made entire ad campaigns, sent creators to the capital of the United States, to Washington, D.C., to protest, to lobby the government to not have them sell it. And up until literally 2 days ago. What day is it today that I'm filming this? It is the 21st. 2 days ago. Maybe 3. I've been inside for the past 3 days, and I've kind of lost the concept of time. Up until 3 days ago, TikTok was, as I said, for the people. And it has had a complete 180 shift, and it is because of two little bubbles, 2 little push notifications that popped up. I've never seen a 180 more sharper than this. If you live under a fucking rock, I say that as I'm like literally underneath like a metaphorical rock. I'm underneath my covers. The timeline of TikTok getting banned was, I believe it was like the start of 2024. There was legislation saying that they either had to sell to an American company or they would get banned. And then blah, 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 bada bing, bada boom, push comes to shove. It is the day before, and TikTok announces, okay, well, we're not selling to a U.S. company, so we're going to go dark. The day comes, TikTok shuts down, and for 14 hours, you would have thought that World War III had begun, the way some people were acting on that fucking app. They were like, this is the darkest day for humanity. It's over. And then like so many conspiracy theories popped up, which were fueled by like these TikTok journalists being like, you guys see how Facebook just made a profile the same day it's getting banned? Yep. Facebook is buying TikTok. Like every possible theory was just like getting thrown into the wind. Bada bing, bada fucking boom. Now, right before it got banned, and fully went dark for everyone in the U.S., a message popped up on it saying, unfortunately, due to legislation, we gotta fucking go. Bye. Which they didn't have to, which we'll get into. But there was one little interesting part at the bottom that kind of started this whole fire. They said, we are working with President Trump to, like, avoid this ban. And they were like, stay tuned. And it was the most interesting wording. I believe they said, we're grateful to be working with President Trump to avoid this ban. Mind you, he's not the president. Joe Biden was still the president. And it's especially weird when you put it into context of literally a week ago, Mark Zuckerberg made this kind of like MAGA shift to the right wing, saying that he's going to end DEI hiring at Meta, which owns Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, some other fucking apps that no one uses. And also that they're ending content moderation, and they're going to have it like similar to X's, Twitter's community notes program. And to top that off, he goes on Joe Rogan's podcast, which you know what that podcast is like. And then to the cherry on top, at the inauguration, Mark Zuckerberg is standing right next to Donald Trump as he gets sworn in. Mind you, so is the TikTok CEO, standing right next to Trump with all of the people at the inauguration. Now, I don't even think I fucking watched the inauguration last year when Joe Biden got sworn in. Like, that was probably the biggest snooze fest of, like, existence. Like, I don't think anyone watched that shit. But I was so curious. I was watching the Trump inauguration, and the newscasters were saying how, like, it is such an interesting sight to see Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, the TikTok CEO, all these other tech CEOs standing right next to the president as he gets sworn in, almost like this tech oligarchy. And they were saying how this would have been like a scandal 4 years ago to have people that have so much power, especially with the companies that they own. These companies being like social media companies, extreme tech companies that are like worth billions and close to trillions of dollars, being that close to people creating legislation for the entire country. That would have been scandalous. That would have never flied 4 years ago, and here we are in 2025. And that's just normal, folks. That is just normal. So back to TikTok. 14 hours pass, and all of a sudden it turns back on. It's right back how it used to be. I think the live feature wasn't working for a little bit, but the message says, due to President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back because Trump ended up signing an executive order giving it 75 more days to figure out what the fuck it's going to do. But by the way, TikTok is not fully back yet. All Trump did was give them 75 more days to figure out if they're going to sell. He actually floated that they should do like a half thing, like half sell themselves to a U.S. company. So, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with that, but it's not for sure in the clear, is what I'm trying to tell you. But it was so interesting because in literally just 14 hours, we saw a platform that once was very much all about like being for everyone. TikTok was definitely one of the platforms that did a lot of work to be like as inclusive as possible. They would have Black History Month events and like fly out like tons of Black creators. They invited me to oh my gosh, I just remembered when they didn't know what my race was and they sent me to the BET Awards. Just remembered that. And I think they also sent me to like a Latinx event once. They didn't know what the fuck I was. They were just sending me to any like cultural event until one stuck, I think. Anyways, to put that out there, and you could just go to their social media and see, the vibe was very inclusive. Obviously, they weren't always like that. They used to have moderation policies where if you were considered unattractive or obese, they would literally like not let your videos be seen. They would take you off the For You page. That was a real thing that they had to course correct and like pretend like never happened. But after that, TikTok seemed like this blanket is actually pissing me off. I'm going to tell you this. TikTok seemed like a very inclusive platform. If you go to their Instagram, they would always like show small creators from like all walks of life. They were I think they had like huge like pride festivals or like did stuff for pride. So like in 14 hours to see them bow down to Donald Trump, who I don't know if you guys know this. But he doesn't have the best track record, I would say, with anyone who is not straight and white and a millionaire. So, how the fuck did we get here? Well, when you put it into perspective of what I said at the very start, that all companies want is to make as much money as possible, it completely checks out. It is not surprising at all. In fact, for all of these companies where at one point to be inclusive and to do DEI hiring, and to promote, if it was like a social media company, to promote content from people of color or like gay people, like that would be like pushed by investors, and they would make more money by doing that, because they would that was like you know what I'm fucking getting at. Like that was kind of the vibe of the past, I don't know, like 10 years. I feel like that really kind of started in 2015. Sure as fuck ended a few days ago. But now that we are in a country now where over half of the country has voted against that, it is now the majority rule that for a president that wants to end that, all companies are following suit, because that is what statistically will make the most money. You're not going to pander. You're not going to try and sway your customers that are the minority of the entire country. No, it's now a country where it's over 50% of people are not like going to buy a product because I was going to see how far I can make into this video without saying the W word. Woke. So that's about as doomery as I'm going to get, because, hey guys, let's address the elephant in the room. It's very dark times. It's almost darker than I could have imagined. Trump got sworn in. He signed so many executive orders that will quite literally ruin thousands of people. Nope. Millions of people's lives. Like, and I'm not talking, it's very easy to be apathetic about it and see like, Trump, for example, ended the CBP One app, which I guess was being used for asylum seekers coming to the country. Republicans claimed that it was used to like smuggle in like millions of migrants. I don't know the full story. I think it was quite simply just an app where you could claim asylum. Anyways, the fact of the matter is he ended that app. He literally shut it down. Thousands of people were about to have an appointment to legally claim asylum, which, by the way, is a legal process. You can legally, that's not illegal immigration, to go to the border if you are from a country where you are being persecuted and claim asylum. That is legal immigration. They are legally doing that. That's the legal channel. He canceled that. And thousands of people, all of a sudden, who just like went like crossed the entire fucking like South America and Mexico to get to the border, are completely fucked. And that's just like on that one day. The border is shut. The door is fucking slam closed. So that's one example. He declared that there are only two genders. That won't fucking go over well. What else? The literal website, their literal government website. Okay, I promise we're gonna keep the doomerism down to 2 minutes, and then we will hold my hand. We'll get through this. The literal website for like reproductive rights, I think it was literally fucking called reproductiverights.org, got taken down. cool. He pulled the United States out of the Paris Climate Agreement, which, by the way, every country except in the world, except for 3, is a part of, and the countries that aren't are like Iran, Yemen, I think like North Korea, like. So the U.S. is joining that group as countries that don't want to be in the Paris Climate Pact. Fuck, I can't remember the official name. Basically, it was a UN pact that pretty much every country agreed to do to lower emissions when we realized, oh, this planet's fucking boiling and we've lost half of our species. Do your balls hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Are they really, really hairy? Are they really kind of scary? Fellas, for some, the new year is a clean slate, but for others, it's a chance to leave last year's scruff and chaos behind. Enter the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra by Manscaped. Okay? It's your secret weapon for stepping into 2025 sharp, clean, and confident. Listen, I have never been able to... I was never taught how to shave... which is why my neck is always just cut up or was always cut up, and I would dry shave with tap water, and then I'd get acne. It was a whole mess. But now I have my routine thanks to Manscaped, okay? Ever since I got their all-in-one grooming kit, it's been beautiful. It's been smooth. It's been moisturizing. And guess what? You can get the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code DRAMA20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code DRAMA20 at manscaped.com. Let's get smooth. Let's get clean. This is 2025. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. Let's continue. Okay. We're cutting the doomerism now because it's not productive. The thing is, I was just reading this interview by Bjork, or not by Bjork, of Bjork, by someone else. I don't know who wrote it, but it was Bjork. She was saying how the way she approaches the world is that the apocalypse already happened. The apocalypse has begun, and all we can do now is just pick up the pieces and move on. And that sounds dark, but then she went on to say that biology always wins. So it can get bad, but it's never going to be over. The worst possible thing has happened as far as we know. And all we can do is just move on. For example, literally half of the species that we used to have on this planet don't exist anymore. We are probably in 4 years probably going to be further away from any climate goal that we tried to get to than we could have ever imagined being at. I actually can't stress enough how dark and scary it is that we just fucking left. Oh, and also left the WHO. Oh yeah. The fucking UN organization that we ended smallpox with. Let's fuck them. Get the fuck out of here. I'm living out. And I will admit, for a while, especially right after the election, I adopted an air of apathy a little bit. I tried to just ignore it. I tried to think, well, nothing I can fucking do. Whatever will happen, will happen. I'm sure it'll work out. And now it's happening. And it's kind of So, to take it back to Bjork. I go through a life. That's not even how she fucking sings. Why am I doing a Grace Vanderwall? I used to be able to do such a good Bjork accent. Now I can't fucking do it. To take it back to Bjork. The apocalypse has already happened. But pessimism gets us nowhere. And nihilism gets us nowhere. If we roll over and play dead, that is no way to live. And I know for the next 4 years, for a lot of people, it's going to feel impossible to live. For people who there will be people who fully have their lives resettled. People who were living in the U.S. for years, having entire lives there, having their entire family exist there, getting moved to potentially countries that they've never like even been an adult in, that they haven't seen since they were like 2 years old. In cases like that, it's how do you even begin to live your life as normal? I think like knowing some people who are Trump supporters and who voted for Trump, you have to be very disconnected from the very human reality of what these people will be going through over the next 4 years to vote for that person. And also, we're going to put a pin in that thought. I need to rewind. When I did my unwoke opinions a few weeks ago on this podcast, and I said Elon Musk is a net positive, take it back. I take it back. Yeah. My unwoke opinion was Elon Musk is a net positive for society because he's in Trump's ear, and at least he fucking believes in a little bit of science and can a little bit tell that man that we need to back the fuck up on our carbon emissions and how we treat this planet. That didn't fucking work at all. Like literally at all. So fully take that back. Also, he hit a certain emote. So, here's the thing. When dealing with, like, a personal tragedy of some sort, a personal issue, typically, like, there's the different stages of grief. There's, like, denial, acceptance, and then some, like, other shit. There's kind of gonna be a collective version of that, I think. It's gonna be probably so scary over the next few days. But please know that for every little fucking piece of paper that man signs and puts into the universe, there is already so many people working like probably all day and all night to reverse what he's doing. And so much of that shit will not stand up in court. For example, Trump ended birthright citizenship. So what's kind of crazy is I'm legally in the U.S. I'm a legal immigrant to the U.S. And, okay, well, I'm not a woman, so I can't give birth. But if I were to give birth, let me not use myself as an example for this because it sounds so fucking stupid. But if, imagine Benita Sanchez is legally in the U.S. on a legal visa and gets pregnant and gives birth. Currently, that child would not be a citizen of the United States, even though it was born there, because Trump signed an executive order to end birthright citizenship. That is fucking crazy because that's literally the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States literally says, I think it's Jus Soli, that if you were born, no matter the status of your parents, no matter what, if you are born in the U.S., you are a U.S. citizen. It does not fucking matter if your mom, like, swam to the fucking shore and shot you out her cooter and then swam away and just left you on the fucking beach. You're a U.S. citizen. You're a U.S. citizen. So, like, Trump's executive order banning that shit, that will be gone. His executive order, that shit will be struck down fucking immediately. And trust that for every one of these, like, evil things that he's doing, there's a team of people somewhere out there, like, I don't know where and I don't know who, but they are working tirelessly to reverse that. And also, for the things that it's like it can't be legally challenged, for example, him just leaving the WHO or leaving the Paris Climate Act, that's trickier. That is trickier, and that will have really tough complications. But there's things that we can do. That what's the fucking saying? Like think it's such a little libby term, but it's like think globally, act locally. There's so much stuff that you yourself can do. I'm fucking sweating under this blanket. There's so much stuff that you can do in your own life to obviously help out the planet, and also just how you can vote with your dollar. You can only support companies that aren't fucking destroying the planet. Like, you can get a Tesla, guys, because they're electric cars. Kidding. That was a joke. But I know it's so easy to feel powerless right now, but you're not. Spoiler alert, you're actually not powerless. And the 100 million plus people that did not vote for him and voted the opposite for him, it probably wasn't 100 plus. What was it, like 80 million? I don't know how many. It wasn't me, because I can't fucking vote, because I'm Canadian. None of y'all are powerless. So let's take it back to TikTok real quick. Let's take it back to TikTok.
Ew. I just looked at the previous footage and the blanket is pushing my hair down and made me look like a little fucking, like a hobbit. Taking it back to TikTok. I want you guys to recognize this moment. I want you guys to recognize this example of TikTok, who literally one day seemed like they were for the people and for free speech and the place for people to find community, to the next day suck the living load out of Trump's dick because he was going to let them still exist as a company. I want you to recognize when things take a little bit of a fascist turn, because it'll be very important to see. It'll be very important to personally know for when certain companies do that, when certain people do that, just like lay down and give up, and especially in terms of corporations, do whatever will make them the most money. I really just want you guys to have the literacy and be able to recognize whenever things take a sharp fascist turn, okay? Because TikTok one day, as I said, was kind of the voice of the people and a place for everyone, and very much seemed like it was a safe space for all, period. And then the next day is literally thanking President Trump, who wasn't even the president yet. And then the CEO is at his inauguration. It happens that fast. And for so many people, it's hard to notice. I feel like not enough people talked about how strange it was, how almost unprofessional it was for TikTok to almost like name drop him like that. Things like that will be very important to recognize in the future, because that'll be a very good marker of things that you want to either support or avoid. If you don't want to support a company that is bending over backwards for a president that literally fucking hates half of the country, then recognize when that happens, because it will happen again. I'm sorry to tell you, but for as long as corporations exist, that will still be happening. They will, and it will probably be a lot more now, bending over backwards to appease Donald Trump for whatever he needs and whatever he threatens. Be cognizant of that. Be vocal about it, but overall, it's 4 years. I've seen a lot of people be like, okay, 1,400 or 1,400 days until Trump is out of office. We can't live like that either. That's a horrible way to live. That's 4 years of our lives. I think about if I did that from age 16 to 20 and was just I wasn't in the US, so it didn't affect me as much. But keep your head up. I know it seems dark, but stay as positive as you can be, because the second you give up, the second you give into the pessimism and the nihilism and the feeling that the world is ending, that's when they win. And we're not letting that motherfucker win. We're not. And he's gonna be dead soon, probably. Let's fucking be honest. That motherfucker's ordering. He's Uber eating fucking McDonald's to the White House, he's gonna die. His arteries probably look like the fucking pipes in my bathroom after I fuck. Okay, anyways, I hope y'all, hey, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay, and I love you. And guess what? I'll see you next fucking Thursday, okay? Goodbye. Bye.